6 hostages were found in a tunnel in the Rafa area, as you mentioned. They were found quite close to a tunnel from which an Israeli hostage was brought out alive last week, about a mile away or so, in the same underground compound, let's call it this way. And the assumption is that they were shot and killed just 2-3 days ago. And there's great anger in Israel over this. First, anger on Hamas, just shooting and killing living hostages. These are hostages that all of them were taken to Gaza alive. There was even proof of life from some of them being given to Israel through these past 11 months, and they were shot and killed. There's also great anger on the government because there's a feeling that had there been a deal, these people, or at least some of them, could have been saved, but they're not. If we look at the past 2 weeks, 12 bodies were brought back to Israel, all of them of people that were taken to Gaza alive. And they were all killed while in Gaza. These are 12 people that hostage families say could have been saved had there been a deal. We even know that out of the 6 bodies brought tonight, 3 of the names there, 2 women and 1 man who was injured and lost an arm while abducted. They were on a list to which Hamas basically accepted to give back to Israel in the case of a deal. It did not happen. A lot of anger on the government. The operation itself happening in Rafa, there were no Hamas militants in the area. Apparently they fled that tunnel some 48 hours or so before the soldiers arrived. Then the assumption is that they killed the hostages. The bodies were then found and brought to Israel for identification.
And so, Jonathan, how is this anger with the government factoring into this general strike that's been called for Monday that's just been announced?
It could be a potential game changer. The biggest workers' union in Israel they've been called time and time again, asked to declare a general strike over the past 11 months since the war began, but they never joined. Now, for the first time, the head of the workers' union said enough is enough, and as of 6 a.m. local time tomorrow morning, the general strike will begin. At 8 a.m., 2 hours later, Ben Gurion Airport will be shut for takeoffs and landings. Schools will be partially shut, so and a lot of businesses as well, of course. So it's quite a game changer. The business sector, for the first time since the war began, is joining the calls for the government to do much more in order to achieve a deal. It comes after that controversial vote in the cabinet on Thursday evening, calling to remain in the Philadelphia corridor, a vote that has been described by the Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, who voted against it, as a disgrace, saying that it basically it's a death sentence for the hostages in Gaza. The vote happening on Thursday evening, and on Saturday evening came the news of those six Israeli hostages which were killed shortly before that. The feeling is that these 6 people could have been saved, but they're not, due to decisions of the Israeli government. That is why there's such a great anger. That is why the business sector is now joining the calls for the government to change its decisions. It's a potential game changer, could be a game changer, but of course we have to wait and see what will be the effect of this general strike, which begins on Monday morning.
Okay, Jonathan Regev in Tel Aviv, many thanks for that.